The 1960s weren't just swinging music and groovy fashion. They were also a golden era for horror that could creep under your skin and never leave. This was the decade when ghosts weren't just seen, they were felt. And sometimes, you weren't even sure if they were real. Take The Innocents, for example. A seemingly quiet English manor hides secrets that will make your imagination run wild. Or The Haunting, where every shadow, every creaking floorboard, makes you question what's real and what's in your head. These weren't your typical jump scare flicks. They were slow, atmospheric, and terrifying in ways that stick with you long after the credits roll. Today, we're diving into 17 forgotten 1960s ghost stories that still haunt viewers, films full of haunted houses, cursed villages, and chilling tales you probably never even knew existed. So, turn the lights down, sit back, and get ready to meet some of the scariest ghosts the 60s ever conjured. 1. The Innocents, 1961. If you've never felt a house itself feel alive, The Innocents will do it. Based on Henry James' classic The Turn of the Screw, it's the ultimate slow burn ghost story. The performances by Deborah Kerr are spine-tingling. She's constantly questioning what's real and what's in her mind. Every creaking door, shadowed hallway, and off-screen whisper adds tension that builds until the terrifying finale. This film doesn't rely on cheap scares. It relies on your imagination, and that's what makes it unforgettable. 2. The Haunting, 1963. Robert Wise's The Haunting is a masterclass in psychological horror. The moment you step into Hill House, you feel the oppressive weight of unseen forces. The cinematography, with its eerie angles and impossible architecture, creates a sense of vertigo that never lets up. The story isn't just about ghosts, it's about fear itself, paranoia, and the way isolation can warp your mind. People still argue about what's real and what's imagined decades later. And that's part of the magic. 3. Carnival of Souls, 1962. Carnival of Souls feels like walking through a dream that you can't wake up from. Shot in black and white with minimal dialogue, it's hauntingly hypnotic. The desolate locations, the eerie organ score, and Candace Hilligus' blank, almost possessed expressions create a film that's utterly surreal. It wasn't a hit on release, but now it's revered as a cult masterpiece. Watching it feels like floating between life and death, which, honestly, is exactly what the movie wants you to feel. 4. Black Sunday, 1960. Roger Corman's Black Sunday brought gothic horror with a vengeance. Starring Barbara Steele in dual roles, the film blends witchcraft, vampirism, and revenge into one bloody atmospheric package. Steele's presence is hypnotic. She can freeze you with a glance. The movie is violent and intense for its time, with dramatic lighting and unforgettable visuals that influenced European and American horror for decades. If you want witches, curses, and terror wrapped in one, this is it. 5. Burn, Witch, Burn, 1962. Also known as Night of the Eagle, Burn, Witch, Burn combines black magic with a chilling tale of paranoia. Peter Wingard plays a skeptical academic who starts realizing that occult forces might actually be real. The film brilliantly balances psychological tension with supernatural dread, making you question what's coincidence and what's the power of dark forces. Its understated tension is exactly why it's so memorable, and why modern audiences should revisit it. 6. The City of the Dead, 1960. Sometimes called Horror Hotel, The City of the Dead nails small-town paranoia. Christopher Lee plays a sinister professor in a story about witchcraft, curses, and townsfolk who are not what they seem. The atmosphere is thick with fog, ominous village streets, and a sense that everyone is hiding a secret. It's clever, suspenseful, and far creepier than modern ghost flicks that rely on CGI. It's all practical. Psychological terror. 7. 13 Ghosts, 1960. 13 Ghosts might sound campy by today's standards, but it's a fascinating experiment in design and fear. Each ghost is unique, bizarre, and visually striking. The house is a maze of danger, with each room revealing more than just spirits. It's almost like a haunted puzzle box. Special effects may feel dated now, but the creativity and sheer ambition of showing 13 distinct supernatural entities at once make it stand out. 8. The Devil Rides Out, 1968. Hammer horror at its peak, The Devil Rides Out is a thrilling tale of Satanism and supernatural duels. Christopher Lee gives one of his best performances as Dr. Richlow, facing off against a satanic cult. The film blends action, occult rituals, and terrifying supernatural moments seamlessly. Unlike other ghost stories, this one is pure adrenaline, a cult horror that still holds up today. 9. Rosemary's Baby, 1968. Roman Polanski's Rosemary's Baby is a terrifying descent into paranoia and evil disguised as normal life. Mia Farrow's performance as Rosemary is iconic. Her slow realization that everyone around her has sinister intentions creates a slow burn terror that sticks. This film didn't just scare people, it traumatized them. Its mix of occult horror, urban gothic, and psychological tension makes it arguably the most famous horror of the 60s, and for good reason. 10. The Witches, 1966. The Witches, based on Roald Dahl's novel, is a surprisingly dark adaptation. While some parts feel like fairy tale fantasy, the witch's sinister presence is genuinely unsettling. The practical makeup and effects give the creatures a grotesque realism that lingers in memory. This movie proves that children's literature can be scary when interpreted properly, and the 60s filmmakers weren't afraid to push boundaries. 11. The Mask of the Red Death, 1964. Roger Corman strikes again with The Mask of the Red Death, a visually stunning Edgar Allan Poe adaptation. Vincent Price dominates as a sadistic prince obsessed with immortality, while a mysterious plague stalks the land. The movie's colors, set designs, and costumes are flamboyant yet nightmarish. It's a feast for the eyes and a creepfest for the soul, one of those films that makes you both thrilled and horrified at the same time. 12. The Reptile, 1966. Hammer horror's The Reptile may sound silly by title, but it's genuinely eerie. A Cornish village harbors a family curse, and a woman transforms into a snake-like creature to enact revenge. The slow reveal, creepy atmosphere, and sinister sense of inevitability make it surprisingly tense. Unlike jump-scare horror, this one creeps into your head and lingers. 13. The Plague of the Zombies, 1966. The Plague of the Zombies is a perfect mix of voodoo, undead terror, and atmospheric dread. Set in rural England, the story revolves around villagers rising from the dead to serve a sinister master. Hammer's trademark foggy moors and ominous castles create a chilling backdrop, while the slow pacing allows suspense to build gradually. It's more about mood than gore, classic 1960s horror brilliance. 14. The Sorcerers, 1967. Peter Cushing stars in The Sorcerers, a mind-bending story of mind control, terror, and supernatural science. The concept of experiencing fear through another person's senses makes this film fascinating and psychologically disturbing. The 60s were experimenting with horror and sci-fi boundaries, and this movie is a perfect example, creepy, cerebral, and unforgettable. 15. The Shuttered Room, 1967. The Shuttered Room blends gothic horror with mystery. Starring Gig Young and Carol Lynley, the story explores a woman uncovering her family's dark past in a remote, creepy mansion. From hidden rooms to mysterious figures, the movie builds suspense with every scene. It's subtle but haunting, proof that tension can be more frightening than overt terror. 16. Witchfinder General, 1968. Michael Reeves' Witchfinder General is brutal, disturbing, and unforgettable. Vincent Price plays a corrupt witch hunter who terrorizes villagers, blending historical context with horror. The violence is stark for the era, and the atmosphere of fear and paranoia is relentless. It's not a ghost story in the traditional sense, but its haunting tone and historical dread make it essential 60s horror viewing. 17. Eye of the Devil, 1966. Finally, Eye of the Devil is a gothic, occult-tinged horror gem. David Niven and Sharon Tate star in a story about a cursed vineyard and dark pagan rituals. The suspense, eerie cinematography, and underlying sense of doom make this movie a slow-burning masterpiece. It's the kind of film where the horror isn't what you see, it's what you feel, long after the credits roll. So here's the question: which of these films terrified you the most? And are there any forgotten classics you think deserve a modern rewatch? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear which ghost story gave you chills. If you enjoyed this journey through some of the creepiest corners of 60s horror, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more hidden horror gems, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a spine-tingling story. Remember, the oldest ghosts are often the hardest to forget.